Here, Hemi Office 5521. Today is 23 February 2021. We will make our movement today. We are working with this situation here, which is the criminal association. Inside an accusation, we can have this accusation by the federal prosecution on USA, considering the type of crimes that you have, maybe linked with American global companies or with, for instance, Brazilian activity doing committing crimes on USA, receiving diverted money from public budget Brazil by criminal scams and having IPO on New York, maybe under investigation. We have this model with a portfolio structured and doing the optimization of instrument and gear that we have available, but with fully capacity to hit, impact, and serve the law enforcement if exist. We will observe that we have an accusation, and this accusation is structured like this. We have basic lines as activity, which is the first situation that we can observe is the corruption. Corruption is a universal crime. Corruption is crime around the globe in all areas. Then we will observe that this kind of activity, which is a corruption, allowed me to have the criminal association with other areas around the globe because it's a kind of universal language, I would say. And this criminal association around the globe by this kind of activity, which is the corruption, uh, permit have levels as activity inside the institution, necessarily with organogram and for sure organized. And we have the basic evaluation as systematic behavior, not aleatory, according with the Chicago School, since corruption passing through criminal association as interconnected area, and have the transnational organized crime, all guilty. Then we will observe that the comparative measurement, now this is the base value to have the accusation, all guilties. And we will observe that the application of the law, considering specific types of crimes, which are crimes around the globe in the same way, will be different because we have areas completely subjugated by criminal groups that work as public department or Supreme Court for criminal groups, crawling, doing drugs, serving themselves by prostitution, being part of system as exploitation, take advantage of real results as global company, doing or supporting the piracy since technical things and softwares or the productive system, and on present time even considering this at the medicine area with a second level as activity, which is the supporting drug cartels and enforcement. But we will keep ourselves, we could have this model that the transnational organized crime give me the idea of terror to have the dissuasory police and things against the law enforcement, which is something around the globe, like the NATO, and we would like to hit this kind of activity by your situation, which is considering yourself untouchable, and the security and defense of the state affecting the security of everyone and everybody. Since from the fake heads that you do at the local police department, at the local prosecution of the judge, offering decisions and all things. And this is evidence and proved in Brazil even by silence. Article 74, integrated fail of democratic institution considering the Congress, the government, the system of justice. with police, prosecution, and judges, and ministry. The Article 23, Item 1, which is the fail as federative unit, can be your local county or something like this, the local government, the state as federative unit, or the entire national environment affecting the security. We prove this one more time. Then we have another group as activity or guilty, just having an extra motivation to do your punishment, which is the white collar crime, which is a crime. We have the tax evasion, which is a crime, and we have the financial evasion in the same way. This is another group of activity. And we have another group considering this kind of activity, which is basically the piracy of medicines and all things, the support of drugs that you put as productive, you know. And in the end, I will put something like this, which is the material and industrial crimes. All these are crimes around the globe, and you will observe that in some areas, completely subjugated, the local police activity, public department will try to put the citizen down. To they can maybe have this ambition to put the international law enforcement down. So it's recommended to have the audit and the Interpol as interrogatory or the NATO as interrogatory in local a conference on internet or something like this, have the requirement of information at this Supreme Court or this local judge, that local department of police, or that business unit of a global company in a situation like this completely involved. As you can observe, all this we have here, the criminal association, since local corruption, localization, and international level. Transnational organized crime, all guilties. Systematical behavior, not aleatory. We have arrays of interest as major prevalence and dominance of criminal interest here, financial and advantage, like white collar crime, which is the misusage of institution for management and as fraud management inside the financial system. And you can do this, for instance, in extended area in New York, have the IPO of a local company doing an activity legal to have the corrosive elements inside another market. Tax evasion, because you wouldn't like to pay your tax, and you will do this as supported by a decision of a Supreme Court or something like this, considering types of public corruption that you have. And we have the financial evasion in the same way, considering the specific period as COVID-19, the tax stimulus, our government linked with, unfortunately, all guilties. Piracy product as fake industrial areas of fake products and piracy that you have, for instance, in areas subjugated by the criminal interests that put these interests beyond their own lives, as variable at the public department, for instance. And this gives the idea as industrial crime and immaterial violation that you can do, for instance, supporting all these by migration of fake registry and situations that are kind of maybe with storage and the law enforcement around the globe. You can request all these by embassies, by local top level of institutions, the Supreme Court, government, and the Congress members, and you will observe that the treatment of this kind of activity will be different around the globe. And we are exposing how the criminal association can be exposed, and then it's something like this. You can use, for instance, the Venn diagram, considering the variables inside, to observe which is that variable so promiscuous that are linked with all type of illicit activity. something like this, which a behavior as a functional behavior, it's named constant. This behavior is a functional behavior, very committed with the density since the minor distortions up to the big distortion. We'll finish here. Wish you success because you had. I wish you a success because you had a great luck, considering the 33 trillion charge and all consequences that you will suffer by a huge effort at the wrong way. It's a, terrible situation against you. Have a good day.